My 26 male, parents 65 male, and 60 female disowned me because of my choice of career. Now my mom wants to reconcile. I got kicked out by my parents a few years ago because of my choice of career. I'm a cinematographer. When I tell people that I got kicked out because of my occupation, they always think I went into something drastic like porn or something. But nope. I'm a filmmaker. Some context: my parents are African immigrants, Nigerian dad, Kenyan mom. I have 3 older siblings. The oldest is a doctor, second oldest a lawyer, and third oldest an engineer. I was supposed also to into engineering, structural. I studied it in college. My parents were dead set on me becoming an engineer like my sister. A lot of African immigrants who come to the West want their kids to have jobs like those my older siblings have. When I graduated, I told them I was going to try my hand at filmmaking. When I was in college, I dated a chick who was going to film school. She was an editor and she introduced me to filmmaking. I fell in love with it and began learning as much about it as I could. That summer I worked my ass off and bought myself some equipment and just started shooting everything and anything. It's amazing how much you can improve at something when you do it over and over again. Even shooting things as mundane as flowers made me a better cinematographer. I began gaining ability with the camera, and during college and my free time, I started shooting stuff like music vids for local artists, corporate videos, short documentaries. By the time I graduated, I felt confident I could make a living in this trade. I was so scared to tell my parents of my decision. My dad had been talking to his friend, also an engineer, and they got me an internship at his firm. Around the same time I was offered to shoot a feature-length documentary in a few countries in South Asia for 6 months. I chose the latter. It didn't go down well with the rents. We had a big argument and they kicked me out. They told me I was wasting my time with filmmaking and that it would leave me penniless and on the streets. At my sister's wedding, a year later, they refused to talk to me, acted like I didn't exist. That was the last time I saw them. When I got kicked out, I had just graduated from school. I didn't have much. My brother, the lawyer, took me in, and I stayed with him for 16 months while I worked in order for me to get my own place. I'll never forget what he did for me. My other 2 siblings also thought I was wasting my time with filmmaking but he was the only one who was so supportive and had my back throughout everything. Things are good now. I'm financially independent. My career is in a good place, getting a steady flow of jobs. I'm also engaged and get married next year. The other day I got a message from my mom asking how I was. She also apologized for everything that went down. She wants us to meet next weekend. She said my dad is too proud of a man to say that he wants me back in his life, but that is certainly the case. I haven't decided on the course of action I'm going to take. I'm inclined towards meeting her. I do miss my parents, even though I'm still hurt and angry towards what happened. And smug too, I'll admit. They thought I would fail. Almost prayed for it to happen. It didn't. How do you guys think I should approach this thing? How do I approach the meeting with my mom? I've been thinking about it over and over again. I'm nervous. Be warned that they likely haven't changed much. They're still the pair that thought throwing you out on the streets over you wanting to do what you wanted with your life was a good decision. They just now want to get you to agree to ignore their awful betrayal of you, pretend it never happened, so that they can go back to how things were after their plan to get you to follow their orders didn't go well, probably because they feel scared they wouldn't be invited to the wedding and wouldn't get to see your kids. You need to be able to set boundaries from the start. No more control over you. They don't get to F up their job as parents that badly and then come crawling back and expect to be giving orders again. They resigned as parents when they threw you out. Now your relationship will be one of adult relatives. Your dad can't even grow up enough to give you an apology of any kind, even a half-assed one. He doesn't get to be the boss of you again. Sorry, but I don't have the same level of forgiveness that others do in these comments. I might go as far as meeting with your mother, but I'd make it very clear that I wasn't going to be reincorporating them back into my life because they decided it was the right moment to do so. They threw you out when you needed them. They turned their backs on both you and who you wanted to be. And now that you are doing okay, getting married, may potentially have kids, and perhaps are capable in assisting with taking care of them in their older age, they may have a use for you. My family did something similar to me, and the problem with people in general is they are apt to repeat the same behavior. Sometimes they grow, change, mature, but oftentimes they hold true to themselves and make the same mistakes because that is who they are. Good luck. You know your situation better than any of us. I'm sure you will make the best decision. And above all else, congratulations on thriving in a world that was against you. I have a similar story, so I can, in a sense, relate. The brief version: I was raised in a cult, and leaving means severed contact from literally everyone I knew, including family. I've been no contact for several years, and my parents reached out to try to establish some contact again recently. I've decided to take things slow. I love my parents and would like to enjoy a relationship with them. Many of the things I love about me, I owe to them. At the same time, the generational and ideological divide is real. I don't expect our long distance overtures are going to bridge that gap. It will take work and effort from both parties. Right now, the desire to connect is flickering. We will see if it grows, and if my family is willing to do the work, and if I'm willing to do the work to build that bridge. I've had a couple conversations with my mom, and I'm going to see what happens moving forward, but keeping my expectations low and managing the expectations of my parents has been wise. In my case, my mom still is very much in her narratives about the world, and I don't really hold hope she will ever see me as acceptable really, but it's something. If nothing else, I know their narratives aren't able to erase their familial connection, and that is validating. It helps. My advice, such as it is, keep your expectations low. Don't focus on your feelings when you meet. You'll be in a better place to deal with them later. While together, show curiosity about her life and your family. If nothing else, it will show them you still care. You've got a right to feel guarded, and you don't need to feel forced by them. Don't accept their attempts at leverage, but recognize they're coming from a place of compassion. When they see that you understand them and love them, but are not controlled by them, and will be an individual adult human being, just like they are, you will enter a new chapter in that relationship. I'm curious what yours may look like. Parents transitioning to peers takes time. Filmmaking isn't a wise career choice generally speaking, and I understand where your parents are coming from, having left a third world country to offer you a better life here. You may not understand them now, but when you forego your own enjoyment in this harsh ride called life under capitalism, and save every dime for your kids' college and only operate with what your culture and experience tells you, and you see your kids blowing your money on something your life experience has told you may not work well, you'll understand them. They aren't perfect. They didn't know you'd be the outlier that lives well in this career. Good for you for succeeding. But they were understandably upset. Go in ready to forgive. You'll make similar mistakes with your own children, and would want their forgiveness as well. Congrats on all your hard work and achievements. Life is too short to pass up opportunities to reconcile with loved ones and to hold anger, sadness, and regret in your heart. I say you should meet with her and hear what she has to say. If she is willing to mend the relationship, you should give it a shot. What happens if you pass up the opportunity and the time comes where they pass away? Will you have regretted not trying to reconcile? The answer to this question should guide your decision. Edit. I understand the immigrant/African mentality you mentioned. I'm in the same boat. I think you have to consider why they are the way they are. Their background and culture certainly shaped their thinking on this topic. Their need to have all their children as engineers, doctor, and lawyers may stem from the fact they really just wanted the best for you and your future children. If you have any, they just showed it in the wrong way. A lot of immigrants think financial stability equals success, and that success and stability can only come from those top 3 professions. This thinking is not entirely their fault, but the fault of a whole society. I'm also a child of immigrants, and would like to add something. The thing is, most migrants leave their homes behind because they want better for their children. Normally it's because their homeland is economically limited, politically volatile, or geopolitically unstable. For them, better means a secure job with a guaranteed high pay. Job security is just social necessity. If you're a doctor, you could be the world's worst doctor, but you'll get a job. You could be a reffing terrible lawyer, but you'll still make money. A job like in cinematography is different precisely because it relies on several very volatile requirements. You need to be very skilled, highly motivated, and very lucky. Fortunately, you are those things and you are doing very well for yourself. I don't think your parents disowned you because they truly meant it. I think they disowned you to try and control your decision making. That is of course problematic, and I'm not denying that. I'd just like to remind you that even that shitty decision was made because they love you and had your best interests in their mind at heart. While it's certainly easy to hold your parents to a higher standard and expect the best to them, we have to remember that they are still human and therefore will make mistakes in their lives. They also grew up in a different time and place from you, so their values are vastly different. I would absolutely encourage you to go see your mom and give her a chance to apologize. You never know how long they have, and you don't want to miss the chance. I lost my father when I was 29, and it was very quick. He was a normal, healthy person, and then cancer hit, and 14 weeks later he was gone. In his final days, he was in a tremendous amount of pain and refusing painkillers, which lead to him lashing out at me. There were days I left furious. The last day, he had been mean, and instead of getting mad, I told him I loved him and kissed his bald head. I'm thankful it ended on a good note. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more videos. See you all later.